How in the hell does Treyarch go from releasing some of the most beloved Call of Duty games to making half-assed game after half-assed game, only to do a 180 and drop one of the greatest Call of Duty games of all time that no one even talked about? My name's Cole, and recently I played through all of the Call of Duty Black Ops games. I learned 3 things on my journey. 1 is that old Call of Duty still works. 2 is that new Call of Duty is better in many ways. And 3 is that Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is an abomination of a video game. Now, you can all put down your pitchforks and torches, let me explain my reasoning, and save your comments for the end of the video.
But Cole, that's not how the internet works. You know that they are going to just call you mean things even if you explain your thoughts.
Yes, Skylar, I understand that, but it boosts our engagement, so I'll gladly share all of my hot takes about things that don't even really matter, like that Black Ops Cold War is far better than Black Ops 2.
No, stop it! You can't say that! It's my childhood!
It's all a lie, Skylar! It's just the nostalgia talking! Come on! Start from the beginning! Black Ops 1, 2010! I know you were there! Call of Duty Black Ops is probably the COD game that I have the most nostalgia for. Released in the golden age of Xbox Live, I got the game at launch and played a ton both by myself and with my friends. And apparently I wasn't the only one, because according to this in-game counter, people have spent roughly 168,410 years playing this game. That's the equivalent to roughly 2,105 human lives from birth to death. I played a little over 3 days myself, but as you can see from my gameplay, I am not what I once was. Thank goodness I found a replay of me in my prime in my file share. Black Ops, as much as you'd expect, holds up surprisingly well. To be fair, it is Call of Duty, and gameplay is tuned and refined with each passing entry. Regardless, it's still the same game you remember from 10 years ago. The multiplayer is still bullshit, zombies are loads of fun, and the campaign is incredibly solid. Now, I'd like to give my thoughts more on the multiplayer and zombies, but I just don't think that it would be fair to the other games in the series, because I honestly didn't play much of the multiplayer in any of them, and Black Ops 1 was really some of the last bit of zombies that I played. I played bits of the rest, but the amount of zombies and multiplayer that I played on Black Ops 1 blows the rest out of the water by miles. So I'll just say multiplayer was a ton of fun for Black Ops 1 back in the day, and Black Ops 1 Zombies has my heart. So instead, let's talk about the campaign. Black Ops 1's campaign was a blast for me to play as a dumb teenager, but as a dumb adult who tried to understand it better, I think it was way better than I remember. Call of Duty games, as they always are playable action movies. The plots are never that deep, but the action and gameplay more than make up for it. That said, every now and then you'll play a Call of Duty campaign and something will blow you away. Black Ops 1 has a moment that did it for me. Obligatory spoiler warning. The moments leading up to finding out that Reznov wasn't actually there with Mason through each mission took me by surprise. I knew he wasn't really there from when I was a dumb kid playing it, but I never realized just how much they foreshadow it and poke fun at the concept. It's honestly portrayed very well, and in my opinion, just as good as how a certain movie we don't talk about did it. If I were to give one complaint, it would be about the ending. The build up through the whole game was done so well, but I really think that the payoff was just sorta meh. Like, okay, cool, we finally solved the mystery, now let's go play Call of Duty one more time to really show those bad guys we mean business. Then it ends on the most America F-yeah shots ever that legitimately made me laugh out loud when I saw it. Looking past that, I can honestly say that Call of Duty Black Ops has one of the best campaigns in the series. Luckily for us, Black Ops 2 picks up the torch and carries it proudly. When Black Ops 2 came out, I was starting to move away from the franchise as a whole. I had the ending of Modern Warfare 3 spoiled to me at school when I was on the final mission, and a lot of my friends were starting to play other games. There's honestly a big reason for that. 2012 was the year that I built my first PC, and at that point, I was starting to play games there instead of on the Xbox. I didn't have many friends on PC yet, so most of my gaming and gaming money went to single-player PC games. I got Black Ops 2 on launch, but I only played for the first couple missions, and I really don't remember playing any of the multiplayer. I was mostly excited for zombies, but even that, I didn't play all that much. As you know, I did recently play through the campaign, and let me tell you, was I ever surprised. I mean, it's still Call of Duty, so it's gonna be fun regardless. But once again, Treyarch cooked up a spicy campaign. Getting different endings based on your choices was such a novel idea for the franchise, and I remember back then when I was 14, that was the biggest thing that got me interested in the campaign. Sadly, I never finished it back then. Playing it now though, I can confirm that yes, the multiple endings were very cool, but not as cool as the villain. I don't know why people weren't talking about how well written this dude was back in 2012. I mean, they probably were, but I was oblivious. I think that if I knew how good of a character Menendez is, I probably would have been more curious about the game then than I was just knowing about the multiple endings. On this playthrough, I ended up with the worst ending, which is whatever. I usually have a knack for picking some of the worst options in games anyway. Honestly, it doesn't matter which ending you got, it was still just a fun ride the whole way through. Okay, mostly the whole way. I really can't say the same about the Strike Force missions that also help you get the good ending. I thought they were quite badly implemented. I want to play Call of Duty, not Balloons Tower Defense. Not that that's a bad game, I just want to shoot fake people. Plus, those missions were set in the future, which meant I also had to shoot fake robots, and shooting fake robots suck. Speaking of shooting fake robots...
Damn it, Skylar! All you're giving me is nostalgia. Try to dig deeper.
No, not the robots!
Yes, the robots sucked, but they weren't the root of the issue. Try to remember, Black Ops wasn't always sunshines and daisies. Tell me about what went wrong.
Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is the worst Call of Duty game I've ever played. I'd almost go so far as to say the worst shooter I've played, and I've played through Duke Nukem Forever, but at its core, it's still Call of Duty, so it really can't be that bad. But it kind of is. I know people absolutely adore the multiplayer. The zombies are actually really freaking cool too, and you can very easily play custom maps on the computer. I even know that some people liked the campaign, but I'm here to tell you that Black Ops 3's campaign was the biggest dumpster fire I've played in a very long time. Let's break it down, and while I vent my opinions at you, just keep in mind that I played this game sandwiched between Black Ops 1, 2, and Black Ops Cold War. We're going to start off with the story. Now look, I know that many people actually like the story, and I will admit that the concept is actually really good. My main issue is that it never did anything to make me want to care about the story. Nothing ever grabbed my attention and said, hey, you gotta pay attention because this shit is fire. Well, you see, Black Ops 3 does do this actually, but the kicker is that it does it on the very last mission. It's a bland, futuristic military shooter until the very last mission when it actually gets interesting. The big problem with this though was that at this point I honestly just didn't care and was only playing it to say that I beat it. Black Ops is all about fighting wars in a morally gray area, doing less than ethical things to help protect the world. Black Ops 3 is not that. It is a personal story game where you are supposed to care about your player character. It seemed to me that Treyarch really wanted people to connect with their character. They let players create their own player character and you get to experience a lot of mentally traumatic things in their shoes. This would be all well and good if your character has an actual freaking name. I honestly can't fathom the reason why they just went with player instead of just letting players put in whatever they want. It would affect nothing but the subtitles, and as a result, it completely takes you out of the immersion. Also, if this is supposed to be a personal story where we're meant to feel like a total badass, then why doesn't the game ever let us do any of the cool things? Time after time, I would audibly yell at my monitor, "Let me do that," or "Why can't I do that?" Whenever the game would require someone to silently take an enemy out, reach a building, or push a big button. They let the NPCs do all of the cool things, and if my character was lucky enough to finally get to do something cool, I wasn't in control of it. All of the past Call of Duty games let you do these things. Take out a group of bad guys on your mark. You repel through a window. You shot Woods in the face. Halfway through the game, I realized that if they just let the player be Hendrix, the buddy NPC, then not only would you get to do most of the cool things, but you'd also get to play as a real character and not just a blank slate trying to pass itself off as a character. Plus, you'd get to do the cool, oh shoot, the guy that I'm playing as is the bad guy now thing. Before we move on though, I do gotta say that Hendrix has some of the most banger lines I've ever seen in a video game.
Hey, you know what they say about staring into the abyss? Let's go.
Time for some nitpicks. Black Ops 3 probably felt like a shooting gallery to me more than any other Call of Duty. Robots aren't fun to fight. The AI is so bad, like they just stand around and sometimes never notice you, but when they finally do see you, they do not miss a shot, even on the easier difficulties.
Bullet to the head will still get you.
Robots aren't fun to fight. I got softlocked once, almost twice, because NPCs wouldn't open doors. The bosses weren't the best in my opinion because it's like, oh, fight this big robot. Now you gotta fight 2 of them. Did I mention I don't like to fight the robots? This one is sorta on me, but I think we can all agree that it's still dumb. To pick up weapons from the ground, you have to equip a perk-like thing. I just figured that they decided to take away a mechanic that's been in Call of Duty since the beginning, but no, they just locked it behind an ability instead. While we're on that subject, the abilities are just kinda dumb in general. I went through the tutorial and figured that these were just the abilities I would have throughout the game and would unlock more as I progressed. Well, you have to equip them in a create a class-like thing, and I basically just glazed right over it all. So the whole game, I never wall ran or picked up weapons off the floor. All I did was inject my character with this Mountain Dew burst of speed, which wore off in like 7 seconds. This is Call of Duty, not Skyrim. If I want a bunch of random abilities that in actuality weren't even necessary for completion, I would just go play Overwatch. As much as I hated this game, especially the robots, I still played it to completion. Why? Well, because it's still Call of Duty. It's still got a baseline of fun that Call of Duty just inherently has. Like, the only way that Call of Duty could lose that inherent fun that's baked into the game would be to do something silly like to forego having a campaign. What the hell was Treyarch thinking? No campaign in Black Ops 4? They literally just threw away years of tradition. And for what? Oh, yeah, that's right. That makes sense. Yes, Black Ops 4 released with a campaign-shaped hole that was filled with a battle royale. To my understanding, a ways into Black Ops 4's development, Big Daddy Activision went to Treyarch and said, hey guys, you know that super really big popular PUBG and Fortnite? Yeah, could you guys do that too, pretty please? Ooh. And you don't just say no to Big Daddy Activision. They're the ones that... Yeah. So with that, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 released with a standalone Battle Royale mode called Blackout. And honestly, I thought it was pretty good. In the beta anyways. When they opened up a beta for Blackout, me and a couple buddies played it a bunch. It was Call of Duty, but it was a Battle Royale, and what more could you want? The weird thing is though, when the full game released, it lost a lot of its magic. I honestly can't explain it. It just felt different and not as fun as it was when it was in the beta. At least there's always multiplayer zombies and... No, but for reals, multiplayer is still pretty fun. Just check out this sick highlight I recorded on Snapchat without audio. Don't worry, I'll add some in. Bang! 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 Bang!
The nostalgia Skylar! What does it mean? You can't keep looping back to that. It's been years. We're running out of time. Forget nostalgia. What makes these games what they are?
A fun campaign where you feel like you're crossing lines for the greater good.
Yes, that's right. Black Ops just became something it wasn't. Embrace the past and look toward a brighter future.
We're back! Yeah, oh baby, my sweet baby, how I missed you. Black Ops Cold War is literally everything I've ever wanted in a Black Ops game. I won't lie, this game feels like you're playing Black Ops 1. The campaign has a very similar tone to the original. There are missions that feel like they parallel Black Ops 1 to a T. The weapon pool is practically identical. Not to mention, they clearly made them look like Black Ops 1 guns, just updated. It's literally Black Ops 1 if it were made today. The guns sound and feel so damn good. Just look at this.
We're losing this fight. Engaging.
If you don't like that, I don't know what's wrong with you. When I was a kid, I always thought that the guns felt and sounded a little tinny in Black Ops 1, and Cold War basically made every gun in that game 10 times better. It's not just the gun sounds or sound design as a whole, but overall, I think the whole game is just so spot on. Everything you do feels right. Movement is weighty but quick. Sliding surprisingly doesn't feel as bad as every other Call of Duty. The heads-up display is clear and concise. Even the menuing is incredibly clean, especially when you have to compare it to the show that is the Modern Warfare reboot trilogy. Multiplayer is just as fun as I remember Black Ops 1 being in 2010, and the zombies mode is pretty solid as well. Personally, I do tend to prefer the older Call of Duty Zombies formula, but I can admit that Cold War Zombies is still great. I haven't even begun to talk about the campaign, which is exactly where I'm going, because let's be honest, that's really the only new thing that Black Ops Cold War has on most of the franchise. Like, as much as I've jerked this game off, it's still Call of Duty at its core, just like Black Ops 3 was. But don't you worry, Black Ops 3 burnt in a fire so that Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War could fly. Imagine you took every interesting idea or mechanic that wasn't inherently bad from all of the past Black Ops campaigns and mashed them into one game. Well, Cold War isn't that. It's better. Somehow Treyarch not only took all of the good aspects from the past games, but even some of the aspects that I complained about in this very video and mashed them into the best Black Ops campaign of them all. Black Ops 1 was a story about fighting a war in the shadows on top of a bunch of other crazy psychological mind games. Black Ops 2 builds up on those themes and also lets the player choose their story and how they wanted it to go. Black Ops 3 lets the players become player. Okay, but for real, it's still neat that you gotta create your own character in that game. Black Ops Cold War lets you do that too, but it's actually done well. Not to mention, all the other stuff from the other games is here too. You create a character to play as, including giving them some perks, abilities, that are unique to a given playthrough. Your character is given a codename so that they are able to be addressed by other characters. Surprisingly, your character doesn't actually have a voice, but it doesn't matter. They pull the silent protagonist off perfectly. You go on missions where you gather information to help you track down the main bad guy while also doing some side quests within each mission, as well as side quest missions that are actually fun because you're still playing Call of Duty and not some strange tower defense game. You make choices within the game that can affect the overall outcome as well. I actually got the good ending for once, but maybe that's a testament to the game actually making me interested enough to want to do all that it has to offer. Black Ops 3 felt like a departure from what the series was, but Cold War is the triumphant return to form that I feel most of us want it to be. Black Ops 3 was set in the same universe as the prior games, but it never felt that way save for some forced references that made you feel like Leonardo DiCaprio in that one meme. Cold War, on the other hand, is a true sequel to Black Ops 1 in both gameplay, tone, story, and everything else. You got the classic cast as well as some new characters. It's brutally honest with the time period it's set in, which is perfect too. And it still has the psychological mind Fs that Black Ops 1 is known for. Black Ops 3 had them too, which was cool, but Cold War's story is far more digestible than anything found in that game. The thought crossed my mind that maybe the reason I liked Black Ops Cold War so much was because I was fresh off the heels of playing Black Ops 3. Honestly, I originally started planning this video just so I could talk about how bad Black Ops 3 is, but somewhere in the process, it also became why Black Ops Cold War is so good. It's really damn good, just go play it if you haven't.
I finally get it. The games I loved as a kid are still good games, even the ones with flaws. But I shouldn't let that blind me from seeing what is good, and maybe even better. Finally, the nostalgia can't control me anymore.
Good. I'm glad you're back to your senses. Now come on, we got a job to do. How in the hell does Treyarch go from releasing some of the most beloved Call of Duty games to making half-assed game after half-assed game, only to do a 180 and drop one of the greatest Call of Duty games of all time that no one even talked about?
Hey everyone, thank you for watching my video on Call of Duty Black Ops and how it was good and then bad and then good again. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, watch one of our other videos because that makes the YouTube algorithm do the thing, and when the algorithm does the thing, it makes all of us over here in the Radcats house's brains do the thing, and we love our brains to be doing the thing. Anyway, this video, for some reason, took way too long for me to make. I don't know why it took me so long, and it just kind of happened as well. I didn't really intend to make it a video, but then I thought, hey, that'll be fun, and so here it is. Really interesting thing, I'm still learning more about Black Ops. Like, for example, I noticed this while editing the video, that Black Ops 2 specifically, where it goes back and forth between the timelines, when you're in the future, it's got the futuristic heads-up display, and when you're in the past, or like the Cold War era, I guess, you have the Black Ops 1 HUD, which was super crazy. And man, if I would have caught that before the script and everything was done, I probably would have said something about it. But regardless, yeah, Black Ops is really fun. Don't play Black Ops 3. Cold War is one of the greatest games for Call of Duty. Play that one. It's freaking fun. And yeah, thanks again for watching. I hope you guys liked it. We'll see you in the next one. And as always, keep it rad.